saving water in the soil using outdoor showers, sinks, and household gray water, as well as some sprinkler systems. So saving water in the soil is our primary objective because we want the big trees to tap into the water table. In addition, the ground can hold way more water than our rain barrel storage tanks. So it makes sense to store it where it belongs and where it will be available for plants to use underground. Underground. Okay, so see this image in the description box below. It's kind of hard to read the lettering on here. But basically, it shows you the ideas of how water can accumulate underground, how there's different types of soil, like that lowest type of soil that looks like bricks is probably hard to penetrate. And then some of this other lighter soil might be hard to penetrate too, but then there's certain areas where water can penetrate and collect in the soil. And you can see trees could tap into it. And that is how we get wells too. Like we don't really do that as much in the city, but in the country, people use wells to tap down and bring up water. So that's why it makes so much sense to store the water in the land. And it's free. It doesn't cost us anything to store the water down there. So I'm going to go over some of the ways that we use to conserve water in the soil. And the first one is called insert watering pipes in the ground near the tree's root zone. So these watering pipes, you can see in the picture down here below, they're like a 2 or 3 inch ABS or PVC pipe. And you can put them about a foot deep or a couple feet deep, up to 3 feet deep if you want to dig a hole that deep. And you just bury the pipe in there and leave about 2 to 3 inches above the pipe sticking up above the soil level. So you can see the pipe. Now you have a watering pipe that allows you to water directly into the opening with a hose, and the water will go right down to the roots. Before we installed our watering pipes, we could water with a hose or sprinkler for an hour on top of the soil, and then it would only penetrate like about an inch down. It would not manage to get deeply into the root zone. So we found this method of watering pipes to be a tremendous improvement. We can fill the pipe to overflowing a few times, and we have deep water penetration of the root zone. Okay, here's another one that is a take on some other ancient watering systems like Hoyas. You can use gallon jugs to drip irrigate young seedlings. Well, that's one thing when you have young seedlings in the garden, they're going to dry out much faster, and it can be hard to remember to keep them watered. So I found this method works really great using these 1 gallon glass jugs. I just fill the jug with water and simply turn it upside down next to a young seedling and sort of adjust it. You just like turn, you can make a little tiny indentation in the soil and then turn the jug upside down into that and sort of twist the jug back and forth until it's settled in there. And these jugs with the handle also help keep the balance of the jug when it's upside down. So you can see in the picture there, it's fairly perpendicular, and that's how we want it to be. And it will drip water into the soil. So these baby bottles nurse the young seedlings with a steady supply of water as needed and act as a gauge of your soil's moisture. We may mainly use the gallon jug drip irrigators in summer and put them away during rainy seasons. But you can see how this one is full, and once it empties out, you can see that you're not getting any more water, so you can refill it again and turn it upside down again. So you fill a 1-gallon jug with water and place it upside down next to a young plant, working it into the soil so it's straight upside down. You've created an automated watering system that releases water when the soil is dry, but holds water if the ground is wet. These work exceptionally well if you add a new seedling into an established area, providing regular water to the shallow-rooted seedling. One bottle can last for days or weeks, depending on the humidity in the air and the soil. Check the bottles at the end of the day during your daily walkabout. And this is a little comment on raised beds use more water than in-ground or lowered beds, which this is a big deal for us because we're in a drought place. So if you live in a rainy place, raised beds are going to be probably a good idea for you. But for us in this dry, arid place, lowered beds actually work better. But here's what happens. I put one of these bottles near a plant growing on a raised mound of soil, and another one I put near a plant growing next to it on flat ground. The bottle on the raised bed mound emptied in one day, but the other didn't empty for a week. So that was a telling example of how raised beds use more water than in-ground beds, and they have better drainage. So if you're living in a rainy place, you want to have raised beds. If you're living in a dry place, lowered beds. Okay, here's a fun one that we did. I always loved outdoor showers, and so we created an outdoor shower with hot and cold water that drains right into the ground. You can create an outdoor shower that is fun to shower in and allows your shower water to seep into the ground. Build a trellis and cover it with vines, or use your imagination to create your vision of the perfect outdoor shower. Then you can enjoy being in nature with the birds and butterflies as you cleanse your body with fresh garden produce and let the shower water drain into the earth below. Showering outside protects the oceans and waterways by keeping chemicals from shampoos, conditioners, soaps, and hair dyes out of the sewer system. You can use fresh garden produce to cleanse your hair and body. So as the water seeps into the ground, it will enrich the garden soil in your garden. So lemons, simple as lemons and aloe vera, can cleanse and moisturize your skin and hair. Here are a couple of our forest-friendly body cleansing recipes that we use in the outdoor shower. Take a whole lemon, cut it or poke a hole in it and squeeze it over your scalp and hair. Massage your scalp and rinse out the pulp. The lemon's fragrant oil smooths your hair and makes it easy to comb. After you rinse the lemon from your hair, break the lemon into 2 or 3 pieces and use those pieces to cleanse the rest of your body. You can just rub the pieces along like you would a bar of soap. Your skin will feel the moisturizing lemon oil from the lemon peel and the tingle of the juice, washing any cuts or scrapes in your skin. Rinse with water and you'll be fresh and clean. If you feel you need extra scrubbing, you can combine equal parts of baking soda and lemon juice to make a fizzy paste that you can use to scrub your scalp and skin with bubbles. Next, split open a succulent leaf of aloe vera or something similar, aloe arborescens or aloe vera, and use the gooey insides to moisturize and heal your skin. To finish your garden grooming, rub fragrant forest plants on your skin so the plant oil will perfume you. Some ideas are chamomile, rose, lavender, sage, and rosemary. Many beautiful smelling leaves, fruits, and flowers are growing. So when you grow beautiful smelling plants in your food forest, you'll have them on hand all the time. Here are some forest-friendly ways to color your hair using garden produce. And so aloe arborescens, which is pictured here in the description box, it has these sort of orange poker flowers. It dyes hair and clothing and soothes skin. Plus, it multiplies. All the plants you see in this picture came from one small potted plant, and this was what happened in about 3 years' time. You can break off a blade of fresh aloe arborescens, and a small amount of yellow-orange fluid will flow out when you first break it open. It's the circulatory fluid of the succulent leaf. This staining fluid will darken your hair and skin and your clothes and anything else with a golden brown color. It's an amazing stain. So wear a shirt you don't mind staining and save that shirt for your hair coloring shirt. So you can allow the liquid to flow directly from the aloe onto your head, or you can catch it in your hand and put it on your head and then comb it through your scalp and let it dry. The aloe arborescens alone is a fabulous hair coloring for gray or silver hair. It turns it sort of blonde and golden, so it's really cute. And it also it will absorb more color into, like in your silver hair, it'll turn it golden, but in your darker hair, it'll make it browner. So it's not like those hair colorings where you put it on and all your hair is the same color. It just soaks into your hair and makes your hair look natural. It has a lot of highlights still. If you have highlights in your hair, it's going to keep those highlights, but just make them a little more golden. So after you drain out the small amount of staining fluid, you can split open the blade and you'll find the clear, gelatinous, slippery flesh inside the leaf. And the clear, you can wipe the clear liquid on your skin to moisturize and heal it, and watch how quickly your skin soaks it up. Okay, there's another method that I use, uses a variety of leaves and fruits from the garden, and I also have that as a course in Food Forest U right now. But basically, you're going to collect your choice of edible plant parts from the garden and fill a teapot or a pot with the plant parts and cover them in water. You boil it, cool it, add a spoonful of salt, pour the cooled liquid from the pot into old rinsed out shampoo bottles or into those 1-gallon jug bottles. And then you can save the extra coloring in a dark, cool cupboard. Outside, you can put this mixture, this blend. If you're wearing an old shirt that you don't mind staining, you can put it on while you have your shirt on and just let your hair dry in the sun. Or if you're using it in the shower, you can squeeze or spray the dye on the roots of your hair in the shower and let it sit on there. So you don't want to rinse it off right away. You want to let it dry on your hair and comb it out to the ends of your hair. Add more as needed to saturate the hair, then allow your hair to dry in the sun with its coloring dye on it. You can use the coloring as often as you want. The great thing is it's nutritious for your hair and skin, and it won't hurt you. You can experiment with edible leaves from your garden. And here are some ingredients we've tried. Sage leaves give a lighter brown coloring. Blackberry leaves, a darker brown. Pecan husks, a long-lasting dark brown. Lemon juice lightens and highlights hair. You can squeeze lemon juice on your hair, then let it dry out in the sun, and it turns your hair a golden blonde color. Other commonly known plants for hair dye are walnut husks for dark hair, chamomile to brighten blonde hair. And you could be creative. You can look for something from your edible garden and give it a try, or research it online. You can feel good about using these earth-friendly and budget-friendly hair care methods because they're not only good for you, they're also good for your soil. And they save the Earth's oceans and rivers. Okay, here's another method that's fun to use, a portable outdoor sink that drains into the ground. You could see in the description box, this is the kind of sink you could get at a big box home improvement store. And here's a picture of how we have it installed. And we put a little table next to it, so it's like a little workstation. So we use our light portable outdoor sink to rinse garden produce, wash our hands, or clean off equipment. Then the water drains into the ground. It hooks up to a regular garden hose, and the water from the hose flows up through the faucet. So you have a sink that can go wherever you decide to put it. Set it on the ground, hook up the hose, and you are ready to clean up. Use lemon, eco-enzyme cleaner, or biodegradable soap to avoid adding harsh chemicals to the water table. What a practical way to save water in the water table. And also, eco-enzyme can be used for cleaning your body in the shower as well. When I first put this together, I think I left out using eco-enzyme. You can use it in your laundry, you can use it on your body. In fact, they even use eco-enzyme to heal wounds. So, okay, and then here's the next one that we use. Household gray water, laundry gray water. We used to use a garden hose attached with a fitting from the washing machine drain pipe, which was nice because we could water different places in the garden by just moving the hose around. However, our newer washing machine requires a freer flowing drain. So we installed this underground ABS pipe to conduct water from the house. You can see the pictures in the description below. We dug a 3-foot deep pit in the ground where the water flows out and filled that hole with gravel to support the pipe, and built this small bamboo trellis over the pit to grow vines over it and hide the view of the pipe. Plus, the trellis also reminds us not to step onto the gravel or the pipe. So while looking for alternative, safe, biodegradable laundry soap, I found a recipe online that I used to make. Let's see. I first tried using lemon juice. That was a disaster because it didn't really clean all that well, and it also bleached out some things too much. And it ended up rusting the washing machine so badly that one day the wash tub in the machine just detached and fell. So then I read online that this also happens when you use vinegar in the washing machine for the rinse cycle. So that makes sense, right? An acid doesn't go well with a metal. And then I found this recipe online. It has Zote soap flakes, washing soda, baking soda, OxyClean, and you'd mix those all together and use a couple tablespoons each time. So then a new product came out and I started using that. It's called True Earth. It's like these little almost papery kind of, it's like they took all the cleaning ingredients, dehydrated it, pressed it into like a sort of foamy little paper, and you just drop one of those in the washing machine. And that did pretty well. I was happy with that, and it claimed that it was good for the environment. Although I did notice that a little citrus tree that was growing next to the laundry gray water did not, it started getting less healthy. So I don't think it was as earth friendly as we might have hoped. But now in 2022, I learned to make eco-enzyme. So now as of 2023, I make eco-enzyme cleaner and use that in place of detergent. I like it. I can make it from garden produce. All I have to buy is brown sugar. And I noticed that that same little citrus tree is now doing a lot better since I started using the eco-enzyme cleaner. So it makes me feel a lot safer because I know it comes from natural ingredients of produce, brown sugar, and water. So in closing, we get a lot of extra water into the water table by reusing our laundry gray water. Another thing you can do is channel water and collect it in a small pond. We use a shovel to dig out a stream bed channel that conducts water wherever you want it to go. A swale is the stream's bed, and a berm is the mound of dirt piled alongside the bed, which helps direct the water and makes a great place to grow plants. In this picture below, we collected water in a 3-foot deep pond in the soil. This was during a rain. You can see raindrops falling on the surface of the water in this picture. Over time, the water soaked into the ground as the berm around the pond helped contain the water and prevent it from flowing downhill. Some people do massive earthworks using heavy machinery to move earth, pile it up, make ponds and things like that. That's also a possibility. But this was just something that I can do on my level with a shovel in my body. So saving water in the water table is efficient and costs only a little time and effort to shape your soil. The water's already in the ground where the plants can access it as needed. Okay, another way that we have saved water, or that anyone could do it, is use rain gutters around your house and rain barrels to collect and redistribute rainwater from the roof of your house into swales and small ponds. So you can see this picture of a rain barrel, and it has a rain gutter flowing down into it, so it's collecting rain. And if it gets too full, it can overflow through the pipe on the right side there. So rain barrels can store water, and they can also be a conduit for moving water. The rain barrel in the picture includes a short attached hose, which is very handy because you can attach a longer hose to it and conduct the rainwater to a location where your plants can use it, or to a pond for storage. So you see that black hose on the ground there. Also use a hugelkultur to collect and channel rain into the ground. Create a hugelkultur in your garden by digging a trench in the soil and filling it with fallen branches, stalks, vines, kitchen waste, etc., and covering the material with the dirt you just dug up for the trench. Hugelkulturs can recycle your broken and trimmed branches and twigs, feed the soil-dwelling creatures, release moisture into the soil as it decomposes, and eventually leave a patch of extra fertile land. They're more straightforward, require less work than other compost piles, and have no wooden structure like raised beds. So build it once and watch as it enriches an area of your food forest. These hill-shaped pockets of buried organic material decompose under the soil and function like small pockets of moisture and natural nutrients within the surrounding soil. So to create a hugelkultur, you gather some spent branches, stalks, and vines. So something that's cut off the tree already. Dig a trench into the soil that's deep enough to contain the organic waste that you're burying. Then fill the trench with your garden waste and backfill it with the previously removed soil. Then stomp it down and cover it with leaves. This deep trench in the soil will accumulate water like a small pond when it rains. It will fill with water and slowly allow the water to seep into the water table. You can create hugelkulturs anywhere you think they will be most beneficial. For example, an area you want to enrich for future use is a great place to locate a hugelkultur. In the moist environment of the hugelkultur mound, worms and other soil-dwelling creatures proliferate, break up clumps, and produce waste that feeds the plants. Everyone wins. As the summer sun dries out the pile, the buried material releases all its moisture so that the hugelkultur will be a pocket of moister soil in your garden. During prolonged dry weather, the hugelkultur will hold air pockets until it fully decomposes into rich soil. Of course, use mulch on top of the soil to keep the soil moist longer, as we already discussed in step 4, cover the soil, but I'm mentioning it here because it is a fantastic way to conserve moisture in the ground. We keep the mulch around 1 inch deep to cover the soil in our dry climate, yet water can flow through it and into the ground. You may add a thicker layer of mulch in wet environments because moisture will help it decompose quickly. So a moist environment, a thicker layer of mulch will decompose faster. Okay, so use lowered garden beds for planting in dry climates. I heard Jeff Lawton, the world famous permaculture expert, explaining in a video that lowered garden beds are better for dry soil conditions and that raised garden beds are better for wet soil conditions. That made so much sense that I tried it. It does catch more water during rainy times. The lower garden bed collects rainwater and it stays moister than the surrounding soil. So lowered gardens and raised gardens offer fun opportunities for experimentation. And I did plant one banana in a lowered garden bed and some other bananas just straight on the regular soil surface, and the one in the lowered garden bed outperformed all of the others. So that was quite telling too. And then lastly, we use water filters, garden hoses, timers, sprinklers, and drip hoses for watering plants. Porous drip soaker hoses and regular garden hoses with sprinkler heads, and we put them all on timers. The timers allow us to turn on the water and let it run for the chosen amount of time, knowing that it will shut off on its own and freeing us to do other things as the sprinklers run. So you can see a picture of a hose timer. And here's also a water filter designed to attach to a hose faucet. So the hose timer works like a kitchen timer. Simply attach it to a hose bib, dial the timer to the desired amount of time, and turn on the water to whatever pressure works. The timer will count down and shut off automatically, so you don't have to turn off the water. That's very helpful. Also, soaker hoses are porous, and they allow water to seep out evenly and slowly, soaking the soil below. Place the soaker hose strategically throughout your seedling beds to water the ground gently. The oscillating hose in sprinkler sprays almost 180 degrees from side to side or down to 10 degrees. In addition, you can control the height of the water by increasing or decreasing the water pressure with the hose valve. So it turns out to be a very versatile system for watering small or large areas. Now, food forester, go forth and be the master of water in your food forest. And a quote by Charles Mackay: "Water is the mother of the vine, the nurse and fountain of fecundity, and the adorner and refresher of the world." Here you go, food forester. You are on to step 7 of your path to creating a food forest.